Hey there, Wren here. Want a jump start to teaching yoga online? In today's video, myself and two other experts will share our top tips for online classes. For the best yoga teaching tips and tutorials, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified every week when a new video comes out.
Welcome to Interoceptive Performance, Wren, and Nikki Cotton Yoga. We are here to share some top tips, tricks, things that you can do to get yourself online fast and comfortably. And so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. We want to have your questions. So if there's something that you want to know that we haven't covered, we're all going to talk a little bit first, and then we'll go into questions. So if there's something you hear that piques a question, write it down, type it in the comments, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. So I'm using a new platform, so there might be some mistakes in here, and I guess that's a great way for me to model that for you. Action beats perfection, right? So I'm going to talk first about confidence and connection on camera. I'm just going to share some tips with you to help you kind of take a breath and breathe about it, but also to look as professional and competent in that realm as you can. So the first thing I'm going to say is look directly into the camera. You want to find the little hole or the little dot if you're using a phone. Obviously, if you're using a camera, you'll find the lens, and look as deep into it as you can. Put one foot in front of the other. This is if you're just standing and delivering content. You can put one foot in front of the other, and that keeps you from swaying back and forth, because sometimes that can be a habit that is something to kind of not do. Use inflection in your voice to emphasize important words in your message. So sometimes we can get into this place of monotony, and so we want to not have a monotone voice, but inflect and kind of punch those words that are important to you or important to the message. Heighten your energy level some to draw people in, and that doesn't mean you want to be a cartoon character or something different than you are, but it's a little different than if I'm sitting and just talking to a friend of mine on the couch. So that's just one little way to kind of bring some energy in to get that connection through the medium of being online and rather than in person. Have confidence in yourself on camera. You know your content, and trust me, I get imposter syndrome as much as the next person, but you know your content, you know what you're doing. And maybe you don't know what you're doing tech-wise. I don't either. My tech is not perfect, and that's why I'm not talking about that today. But lead with your content. Lead with what you know, and let that be what it is. Your people want to connect with you, and they need you right now. So don't let the tech and the other stuff scare you. And try not to let what people think about you scare you, too. I had to kind of get over this to do this because I don't know everything. So I'm thinking I'm about to get on camera and talk about this. And so, yeah, I had fear around that too. And I did some things to work through that. And here I am. Habits. Watch yourself back so you can notice any habits that you might be doing, because is a big one. Lip smacking is a big one. That's one of mine. Or whatever. I also know that I tend to replace habits with new ones sometimes. So it's important to kind of look back every now and then and double check. One way that you can replace those habits is to not be scared to pause. The pause, because those habits are what we're doing to fill in before we say the next thing that we want to say. So if you just take that moment and pause, and then say what it is you want to say, it will come across a little more knowledgeable than, So, and it's a work in progress. It is not going to come the first time you try it. So also have some grace for yourself around that. Plan your content and practice before you go live. And so that means you want to have a strong introduction, write out your bullet points, have everything sorted out. That doesn't mean you're going to have a big script to read, but have your ideas sorted out, and then beware of the finishing ramble. And that's one of my big ones I always have to work on. Have an exit plan. Know what you want to say to get out, and then go. Action beats perfection. You'll get better, but only after you do it. So you got to just jump in and do it, and then get rid of that desire to make it perfect. It's going to be fine. And like I said before, your people love you. So they want to see you, imperfect or perfect. Identify others who are doing what you want to do and just watch them and see what you like and see what you don't like. And that doesn't mean you're going to copy or mimic someone else's way of being, but you can see those habits or things and maybe identify some things in yourself that you're doing, and also what you're doing right. So I would say record yourself, notice those things that you're doing right, notice those things that you want to improve, and then have an action plan for how you're going to do that. And we'll put up links that if you want to grab this worksheet that I have, it has all these tips on it for you written out, and also a space for that little exercise, then you can grab that. The last thing I want to say is do your work. What practice can you do that will put you in that state of relaxation and confidence before you go live or record your videos or whatever? And do that practice every time. Because when you're doing your work, it helps with everything that you're trying to do, and it'll help you with that confidence and help you be more connected. So you can grab that worksheet and it'll have some information for you. And I'm going to also put some links to some YouTube videos. I have an exercise on conquering your fear. It's a little exercise and meditation, and you can grab that as well. Just also remember, you are providing a service that your people want, and you're letting them down if you don't. I shouldn't say you're letting them down, but they want you. So do your best to provide that for them if you can. So that's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to bring it on up to Rena and let her jump in with some tech tips and things like that.
Hey guys, thanks Pamela for inviting me to this awesome event. I had been getting inundated with questions from yoga teachers about all of the things that are happening online. Pamela was as well, and we just decided, hey, let's just share all the things that we know, which isn't everything, like she said, but I do have some tips for you. A lot of the things I'm getting questions about have to do with Zoom and some techie things. So first thing to know is I have used Zoom for online teaching. And that's what I recommend. So if you're looking at other live platforms, I do have some tips on those, but I'm not going to talk about those here. So the first thing you're going to figure out with Zoom is that there is a paid version and a free version. And I'm recommending the paid version. The Pro plan is about $15 a month US. And there's a couple of big reasons why I'm recommending the paid plan. And you can think about that like, if you were paying rent at a yoga studio, you'd probably be paying more than that, right? Especially even if you're just going in to teach classes. So there's two things. On the paid, you can host, let's go back to the free. On the free, you can host up to 100 participants, but you're cut off at 40 minutes. If you go over 40 minutes, you can only have 2. So 2 people, you can have longer, but more than 2 people, you're cut off. And the other important thing is with the free plan, you can only record locally. You can only record to computer. So if you're wanting to record your classes, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, you won't be able to record on mobile. So if you're teaching, so many teachers that I'm talking to are teaching on tablet or phone. So if you are doing that, you cannot record on the free plan. So get the paid plan if you can. I do have some tips if you just can only have the free plan. Get the paid plan if you can. Free plan, if that's your only option, I will share some stuff on that and some materials that we're going to share later. Another thing to remember to do is whether you're using your phone or not, turn it on Do Not Disturb. That way you're not getting pop-ups or dings, and all of your other devices, turn them on silent. Record your class if you can to share later for people who couldn't attend live. Some people have asked about, can you share straight from Zoom? If you have the paid plan and you're recording on, if you have the paid plan, which means you can do cloud recording, no matter where you're recording that, whether it's on mobile or desktop, you can share the link to that recording through email or other ways. But that I only recommend that in certain circumstances. If you do it that way, you might want to put a time limit on how long they have to go look at that, because it's going to have to live in your cloud storage on Zoom in order for them to be able to access it. So you can't just share the actual recording from Zoom. You can share a link. The recording will have to live on your Zoom if you do that. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to just, if you're recording to the cloud, download that video, keep yourself a little system, download that video, and then share it with people via YouTube. Some people are using Vimeo. I think they only have paid plans now, so I'm not really recommending them. YouTube, if you share it there, you want to share it unlisted and not private. That's really confusing with YouTube. But unlisted, if you share the link, people can click that link and watch it, but only people with the link can watch it. So I hope that helps. I've had a lot of questions about pinning on Zoom versus spotlighting on Zoom. I'm going to make this really simple, and this will also be explained more in the free thing that I will share after the fact. Oh, I said Thanks, Pamela, for that tip. Is one of my favorite words. Pinning versus spotlighting. Pinning is only available with let me start over with that. With pinning, each individual user can pin their screen can pin themselves, their own video, to their screen. The difference with spotlighting is if you as the host spotlight yourself or you spotlight someone else, that person will stay on the screen for everyone unless they switch to gallery view. So there's two views there's more than two, but in terms of participants, there's two views. There's active speaker and there is gallery. Gallery view is where you see multiple people. Active speaker view means it shows who's speaking actively. So if you don't manipulate pin or spotlight, what will happen is if you're on gallery, you'll just see gallery. If you switch to active speaker, you're going to see who's talking, and then if someone else talks, you'll see them pop up, and then it will switch back and forth. So if you don't want to see that, you can pin yours, and I have a video on how to do this. I'm not going to go into all those details. And spotlighting is only available on the paid plan. That's another good reason to have the paid plan. I'm going to try, I have a lot. I'm going to try to wrap this up pretty quickly. So commit to going live. I've had multiple people say, oh, I'm just going to record a few and share them until I get comfortable with being on camera. Okay, people, we are all type A perfectionists in the yoga world. And, if you do that, you're going to drive yourself crazy, stopping and starting and thinking, oh, I can pause and restart that. I cannot stress to you enough how much your students just need you to show up on live online, just like you would walk into a classroom. So if you're in the classroom and you make a mistake, you're not going to say, oh, shoot, hang on, everybody. I'm going to walk out and come back in and start that over. Just be you. Your students love you for you. So that's my tip on that. Move to recordings, pre-recording stuff later. Use the live recordings as information for you on how to improve, and not necessarily improve, but how to work toward pre-recording. And then a few Zoom shortcuts that I'm finding people don't know about these. So when you're inside Zoom, if you do Alt-M, or I think on Mac it would be Command or Control-M. So M is for mute. If you do Alt-M, it mutes all the participants but you. If you want to unmute everybody, let's say you start the meeting with everybody on mute, which is what I do, then you just do Alt-M and it unmutes everybody. And a couple other ones, Alt-A, so A is for audio, that applies to speaker. So if you want to mute just you, like if I'm doing something and there's a big loud noise that happens and I think, oh gosh, I don't want everybody to see that or hear that, I can just do Alt-A and that will stop my audio, and Alt-A to turn it back on. Same with Alt-V for video. So you can think of it in terms of audio video. So if you do Alt-V, it will stop your video, and Alt-V again will turn it back on. You can toggle with commands between gallery view on and off using Alt F2 or Command F2. I'm a PC person, so this will be in the cheat sheet of all the things that we're going to share with you guys. Let's see. Oh, space bar to unmute. So if you're in a meeting and the teacher says, hey, let's hear from Cassie over here. Cassie sitting there can just hit her space bar and unmute herself. Attend a friend's class and put yourself in the student experience. I can't recommend this more highly. So go to someone else's live yoga class. That helps support them too, yoga online, and show up and see how you feel about how that experience was. That will give you information for how to modify things when you're teaching. And only one other thing I had, and then I think I'm done, is think about a subscription model for this. So Nikki has something like this. Pamela's doing a similar thing. So rather than just thinking of this for now, you could be thinking into the future about how you might do these as a series. That's what I've done in the past, offer them as a series of 4 to 6 classes or 8 classes. And Nikki does that, Pamela does that as well. So anyway, I know that was rapid fire. Hang around to ask your questions. Thanks, Pamela. I feel like I was rambling, but
I know.
To share. Thank you.
No, I know there's so much to talk about, and we probably won't get to every question, but do drop your questions in the comments and we will get to them and try to answer as many as we can get to. Okay, so now Nikki is going to come on. She's going to talk to us about her setup, what she does. She's been doing a lot of online fitness for I don't know how many years. She's the resident expert on that. So Nikki, let me see if I can pull you up. There you are.
Hello. Okay, so I have been teaching online classes now for almost a year and a half-ish, so to speak, I guess. Maybe about, somewhere in there. I've learned a lot. Okay, so my see, there I go, Pamela. My classes are recorded and also they're live. So once I have them finished recording, or once I'm done teaching the class, I then upload them and then provide them to my students. And now I'm also going a step further and able to package those up and make them look all pretty and nice and put them on, now they're on YouTube. I was using Vimeo. So now I put them on YouTube, and eventually I will be able to use those to make kind of more cohesive type challenges and things like that. So we have a video that I wanted to show you though. So I want to show you my setup real quick because there are a lot of questions about that, I believe. So we want to get that kind of overview of what I have going on here. So you can see here, I have my iPad, so we can pause for just a moment. Let me tell you what I got. Okay, so you can see I have an iPad that's right there in the front, and my laptop is on the floor, and there's a bunch of stuff there for a reason, but my iPad, I'm using that right now for my classes because I think I have a MacBook Air. It's not very old, but the camera is not good. So once I have, I was using my external webcam on my laptop. So you can always play with this and just see what works best for you. You might even just like to use your phone. It's perfectly fine. They all work. Okay. So anything that has a connection to the internet will work. I have, I'm using Zoom and I'm doing my classes through my iPad, but a whole other subject, but I do record it separately. You can see I have a tripod there, and I have, that's my old phone, but I do have a phone that I record on because it's much better. So then once I have you can pan around there. We can go ahead and see the rest of it. Once I have that, we'll give a little pause here. You can see I have my setup there. I had my laptop over to the side. I can see all my participants. As we're close, I can see all my participants in the gallery view. So yeah, you can see me on the screen back where I recorded it. So once I'm on my mat, I can then look over, I think it's maybe a little further, there we go, in that video. I can see everybody there, and I can see it better on my laptop than on my iPad. I've done it both ways. So I can host, you can get into Zoom, and in the same account, you can just get in the same account. So you can be a host and a co-host for your own meeting. That way I have control on both of my devices. If I need to do anything or do anything that means host control, like such as mute or unmute people or things like that, I can do that from there. So I have a whiteboard, as you can see. I don't always use that for my regular classes, saying I also teach some other online classes, but for my majority of my classes, I don't always use the whiteboard. But when I need to keep something really short, concise, I want to make sure I'm keeping it within a certain time frame. So if you've committed to doing like a short 30-minute class, you have to be very concise in your sequencing. So you might want to put something out so that you can see as a reminder, whether it's the whole sequence or just little keywords can be very helpful, or maybe thoughts and ideas that you wanted to present during your class time. So that's what I have over there on the side. You can also see I have some household items, because most people now, especially because of where we are and this self-quarantining and staying home and everything, you can see that you have a lot of options, because we're not in a studio. A lot of times we've never taught anywhere else but a studio, so you have to think outside the box. So I have a water jug there. So I found that if you have 2 of those, they make great weights as well. So if you're doing resistance training or something, but also for the yoga world, if you're using them for blocks, they're nice and sturdy. You could put your hands on them and they make a nice little lift. Aside from that, you could also use a chair. You could use other items. I can use them, my ottoman for a lot of variety of things. You can use paint cans. Paint cans are perfect because they're all really, they're all the same size, and you could use those under the hands as well for blocks. You can use pillows, throw blankets, just to make things more comfortable. You can use scarves instead of straps. You'll notice I have, that's an infinity scarf, which I don't know why it took me so long to realize that all these infinity scarves I have laying around, I could use for straps. They're fantastic for straps. They're nice and wide, so they're really nice to cradle your foot in. So, sky's the limit. You could use no props at all, but you could also have the availability of maybe even more than what you might have at a studio. So you can have all of these options available, or just suggest them to people. People can bring chairs over to put their hands on. You could also easily just do a chair class. Everybody's got a chair around, whether they're in an office or at home. So we have all of these really kind of fun options to play with. So I don't think there's any more of the video, but you can pan through there. I think that was it. But I just really want to emphasize, I did know, you might have saw the ring light. So the ring light isn't, again, you see I have a lamp. I have this little like spider lamp there. I have all kinds of lamps around. And my ring light that's over in the corner there, you just have to play with these things and see what looks best for you. I don't have a lot of natural light, but you do want to kind of balance your light out a little bit, just so that it feels a little better to the people that are watching it and they can see you well. Another suggestion I would give you as far as your teaching space is try to have a mat or something that's going to be contrast to the colors that you're wearing. I had a black mat for a really long time, and I decided, and I would go back and see, and a lot of times my participants would tell me they couldn't differentiate my legs from the mat. So I've learned that if I have a lighter colored mat, that's really, really helpful, and that they can see me better. And because it's a different situation than being, in person, you really need these little details. So that's another suggestion that I would give you. I would also suggest that if you're recording and you're going to have them later, people do really like that live time. So just as Rena suggested, you could offer the live class, record it, and then send it out. You can do that, free. You can do it as a subscription service. That's what I took a live class I used to have and moved it onto Zoom. And everybody was apprehensive at first, but they got used to it, and now they love it because they can stay home, but they have accountability. So something I do after my class is I have a check-in. I record my check-ins. I actually cut them up and have them as a separate link for my people. If that's too much, if you're like, I don't know how to do that yet, trust me, I get it. Right? QuickTime, though, makes things super easy. You can cut videos up real easy. But if you are just going to do the one, that's fine. I do like the check-ins, though, because I think that's where people feel like they still have that connection. So not only can they see people on their gallery, whether you have them muted or not, they can also then have a check-in, and they can communicate with each other and with you. And, and Rena and Pamela both come to a class that I teach this that way. And it's great because I feel like we're all still in one community and that we get to see each other. So and it makes people feel a little more accountable when they know their friends are going to be looking for them on the other side of that camera. So there's a lot of community that can still be had here. So those are just some of the thoughts and ideas that I have. I'm looking at my list here to make sure. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. So I hope that was really helpful for you guys.
That is so awesome, Nikki. I just always learn so much from you, and I love your class too. So
thank you.
Yeah.
And I did say I have a link there in the descriptions for one of my Pilates classes. So I teach yoga and Pilates and a lot of different things, but my Pilates class, that's the one that Pamela and Rena have come to, and that we all get to have fun together there. But I do have a sample of that. One of my Pilates classes. You can find that in the description, and just check it out and see what that looks like on the other side of things. I have everybody muted when I teach, and that way it keeps it really clean, because if you're wanting to do anything else with these videos, it can be a little distracting when you have all these noises, whether it's people's dogs or cats or them coughing or whatever, you'll get that in there. So and also only one person at a time can usually be talking on Zoom, or it distorts the audio. So that's another thing to consider. It kind of cuts in and out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I want to take a moment now and share your questions. And so we'll just kind of pull the questions up, and then we'll just answer them, whoever can. So someone says, do you use a wireless microphone? Gail. Hi, Gail. Glad you're with us. I hope you don't mind if I pulled you up. But yeah, so I'll go first. Right now, I'm using these JBL earbuds, and so you can hear what that sounds like. When I'm on Zoom and I'm recording my Zoom sessions, I use my iPhone 11 to record it with no microphone. And I don't use a microphone for the Zoom with my computer. I'm using a MacBook Pro, and I just use that. Is it perfect for broadcast quality on a TV or movie? No. But for what we're doing, it's again that letting go of perfection. We're not making films that we're going to sell on Yoga Alliance or some big platform where they're going to expect a higher production quality, right? And that doesn't mean we don't want it to be the best we can be, but we don't have to invest a lot of money to be able to serve our clients. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all I was going to say about that. I have had questions about music, and there's a lot of, so thank you for that question, Gail. I hope I answered it. Maybe you guys want to check in with that. Nikki and Rena, what do you guys do for microphones?
I don't use one. I just use my microphone and I record. I mean, when I'm teaching, it's on my computer, it's on my laptop or my iPad, wherever the device is coming from that I'm on Zoom while I'm live. And again, like I said before, I record separately, so I have a better quality recording. And that's also the audio that goes on that is just strictly from my phone. I don't use anything else.
I do, for most of the stuff that you see of mine, And when I do live, I don't use a mic. My space allows for that. I do know that some people have bigger spaces, like with really tall ceilings. And on that note, my husband and I are musicians and performers, and we're researching the best options for you if you're in a situation where you need a microphone. So my best answer on that, if you know that you need to use a microphone, is stand by. We'll have some information on that for you coming soon. So just make sure that you stay in touch with all of us. I have used a microphone. I'm using one right now. It's this iRig mic. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll put a link to that.
You can hear it.
There we go. I know
Yeah.
you can hear. You actually can't turn it off unless I unplug it. So yeah, an iRig mic. But what I find for iPhone or iPad, it's good enough, and that's what I do. But we'll have more to come on that.
Yes, and I will say, be sure and get in touch with us all to be able to tap us for resources. Nikki, did you have something you
Yeah, I
wanted to
had
say?
one thing I wanted to add to that, because I did start using, when I very first started, I got the little snowball mic or whatever, and I found like it did not help me. It was so much better just using my devices. But there was something else I was going to say. No, I don't remember.
Don't you have a Yeti?
Yeah, that's what I had, and it didn't really help at all. And I found it was just, oh, I know what it was. Amplify. You are not in a yoga studio, and you are teaching online. You are going to have to talk. Can I show you? You're going to be back here, and you're going to have to amplify your voice and talk as though you were talking to someone that's across the room, and it's going to feel funny.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be saying, breathe in, breathe out. You know, yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to add that, because that was something hard for me to get used to, because, you're used to talking softly, but
your yoga voice.
You're going to have to use a louder voice and feel like you're yelling at someone to be calm and to relax, but it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so let's move on to another question. Allison. Hi, Allison. Thank you for joining us today. Allison says, I'm having trouble figuring out how, okay, well, we'll do that one. I was going to do the microphone one, but we'll do this one. I'm having trouble figuring out how to get paid. I'm planning on using Zoom, but don't currently have a mind-body app like most yoga studios. Help. So I'll start. I use PayPal right now, and so I just put the PayPal, Venmo, and I also have Square. So I just tell people, these are your choices. Just drop me some money. And if you have a set price and a set schedule, Schedulicity is great. The platform is free, and you can, for $5 a month, you can take payments on it. So that's a good option too. If you have a set fee. Right now, I made mine all pay what you can, because I know a lot of people are struggling, and that doesn't mean it's free, and that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so those are kinds of the things that I do. And we're going to drop a bunch of links for you in a little bit. And so if you go to my sign up for my bar, you'll see kind of how I did it, where I just said, sign up for my bar classes. You put your email in, and then I send you the links and everything you need to sign up. So that doesn't mean you have to sign up for it, but that's just how you can see how it works. Rena, Nikki, what do you guys think?
I do the same thing. Yeah, I have them do PayPal, Venmo. But because like I said, my class that progressed, my personal class that I teach that progressed, they weren't, a lot of them weren't, didn't like using electronic payments and such. So I even still have many people that just snail mail me. But those are people I know. I don't, I'm not going to suggest that for like across America or across the world, or outside the US, But, if you have some people that that's just not their thing and you trust them, you can let them do that. But I do the same thing. We just have I have a roster of people, and they Venmo me and PayPal.
I have done that. And currently I use my Teachable platform, which I don't recommend doing that unless you're doing it to a point that, unless you're doing it enough, like once you figured out, I want to do this for a while, just because it takes a little bit more percentage, but it does make it really simplifies things. So, but for now, starting out, I totally agree. And I know there's integration. I know she mentioned Schedulicity. Amanda McKinney was telling us about how there was one for Acuity. I'm not sure if you mentioned that one.
Mm-hmm. I'm putting them both in right now if it looks like I'm not paying attention. I put Schedulicity and then Acuity. I'm putting those in the comments for everyone so that they can go and look at that. Now, let's go to another question, because I think this is a good one that probably is on a lot of people's minds. And Rena, you and Nikki probably have more to say about that.
Janine says she can only figure out, is that the one we're looking at? Is there a way to
Yes.
go live on a computer, on a page, and in a group? I can only figure it out on my phone. Yeah, you should be able to do that. I can put this on a list of Loom tutorials that I can create, if that would be helpful. I don't know if it's giving you an error, if you're just not seeing the option. And Pamela, I don't know if we told them that we can call people up if they want to come up on screen. Yes. And talk to us. We can drop a link that you can click and it will bring you up with us. I don't know if anybody wants to do that, but just if you wanted to come up, we could do that. I don't know why, but the answer is yes. You absolutely can go live on a computer, on a page, and in a group.
Yes. So also, I will say, and not that we did this to promote ourselves, but we do consultations with people. So if that's something that you really want to go in depth with, you can always reach out to one of us, you know, and get answers individually. Oh, I said, you know. See, I'm always catching myself, but it's always too late, right? Yeah, so some tutorials would be great. So Gail says tutorials would be great. All of us will drop our tutorial links in the comments. I have several on YouTube. I have some about confidence. Well, kind of what I talked about. So you may not need that one, but there's one on conquering your fears, which is a great exercise in meditation. There's one on using Zoom. Rena has a ton on using Zoom. Well, you guys can talk about what you have for tutorials.
Oh, I do. I have one that's similar to what Nikki has. I actually learned the external recording making an extra recording on iPhone. I learned that from Nikki, but I did one that walks you around my room, similar to what she just did. I have that. I have one on how to download a Facebook Live, because that is apparently glitchy in Facebook right now. Yes. And a couple of other ones on how things look on your screen. I have one where I show a computer, an iPhone, and an iPad, and I show you what it looks like on all three. And so just things like that. And we will give you all of those links. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, we'll drop them in the comments later. Can you share my?
Oh.
Using the free plan. You have a tutorial on that, don't you?
I do. But I want to make sure I'm understanding. Let me look at the full question. Can you share more info again?
Just laptops using the free plan.
Just laptop or computers.
Using the free plan.
Okay. Sorry. My sweetie just brought me another cup of tea.
So I think she's asking how to do it from her phone on the free plan.
Okay. You can broadcast. Let me check something real quick. Okay, you can go live on the free plan on Zoom on your phone. You just can't record it, because with the free plan, you can only record locally. And in order to record to your phone, that has to be on the cloud. So you definitely can go live from your phone. You just can't record it unless you find another way to record it. Like if you did a screen record maybe or something, you could do it that way. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, next question. Would you talk to us about music? My first 1 hour Facebook Live was partially muted before being saved and posted. Ooh, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
Yeah, thanks for joining us and being here with us. That is a big one. So I'm going to start this conversation, and then I'll let them chime in too. But I'm going to start it by saying we are not legal. Well, Rena actually is a lawyer, but we're not giving legal advice. So there's that. I'm going to share a couple of things that I know, but I'm not giving you legal advice. So the first thing I will say that yes, YouTube does remove, and it sometimes will only remove certain songs that have been copyright claimed. So if you have a playlist and some songs are copyright claimed and they claim the copyright for it, that part of your video will be gone. So you can choose to air it without that music, which means you're pumping along or you're breathing along or whatever, and then all of a sudden the music goes out and then it'll come back in. You can choose to replace it with royalty-free music, which might look weird or whatever. Or if it's banned in certain places but not everywhere, then you can choose to just let it go where it is. I don't have great answers for this except for try to find royalty-free music. And that's really hard if you're a dance teacher and you are dancing to some Bruno Mars song that you really love. The chances of getting that royalty-free are probably not going to be very great. So unfortunately, I don't have great answers for that. I will say if you're a public school or a nonprofit, you are allowed to use music like that on platforms like YouTube and things like that. And that, again, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just telling you what I've found out. What I would do is reach out to ASCAP BMI and ask them. But I would be really careful about that, because if you are paying for licensing through them, you're paying by your number of people in your studio. And if you're paying, you know that. And if you're not, they'll find you eventually. So if you inquire about going live, then you may end up opening a can of worms that you may not want. So I would just tread lightly on that. And I would just say, just do your best to try to find royalty-free music, but acknowledging the difficulty in that. What do you guys have? Do you have anything to add for that? I don't use music for my yoga classes, so it's not an issue for yoga.
I first want to say that I do have contacts, being a songwriter and I am a BMI artist, that I have contacts at the PROs that I can reach out to, that they already know all about me. They already know what I do because I've talked to them for several reasons, for music venues and for my yoga stuff. So I can reach out to them and see what they're recommending now that so many people are going live. And if you have a license, or if you've paid for a license, if that allows you, because just because you have a license to use it in your class doesn't mean you have a license to broadcast it.
Right.
So doing that privately, but as soon as you share it, that could be a problem. And I know you were talking about that. For me, I just don't use music when I'm recording. I mean, I normally do if I'm teaching like in person, but I know what some studios are doing is they are having fun finding a playlist up for the class. So they'll just find a playlist and share it with their event. They just share the link, and then people at home can go pull up that playlist and listen to it in the background if they want to. And I personally, when I'm watching videos on replay, I'd rather there not be music, especially for yoga, because sometimes I don't want it, and sometimes I want to use a different kind of music. But like Pamela said, I teach bar classes too. I don't anymore, but I used to. And doing that live can be difficult if you're needing people to stay on the beat. So again, I'm going to research that a little bit more. I'm putting that in the more details on mics and more details on music coming soon, because we don't want to just flippantly answer a question. We want to make sure we follow up and give you all the details.
Yes, and that's a good chance for me to do a shameless plug. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channels, be sure and do that, because that's where we're going to be posting these follow-ups and the answers to the questions that you guys are asking today that we don't get to live. Someone says, what about disclaimers? Mary Ann, thank you for joining us. What about disclaimers? Should we write one up or use a template? Anybody want to go?
Is this for replay or for live or for both? So I'll answer it this way. For live, you're going to have them do some kind of waiver, just like they would for a class. For replay, I do recommend some sort of disclaimer. You can, sometimes your insurance provider will have recommendations on that. I will share one. That's one reason we wanted to do this, to get all of your questions so that when we provide this cheat sheet after the fact of frequently asked questions, it'll all be there. So I will, I'll pop one in there for you that you can freely use.
Okay, and let's see what are some more burning questions. Yeah, so also if you want to go live with us, did I share that link?
I'm
So
check
here is
a couple of things real quick.
Here's a link. If you want to join us live, you can pop yourself up in here and I will pull you on. Oh, there we go. We have Courtney. Hi.
Hi.
Courtney,
Can you hear
the
me?
ever beautiful Courtney Butler Robinson. Thank you so much for
Can
joining
you hear
us
me?
today. Yeah, I can hear you great.
Thank you. Good,
Yeah,
good. Well, I wasn't expecting to be on TV.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thanks for jumping in with us. Yeah. Do you want to share your experiences or any advice or helpful hints or what am I looking for? Soul helping wisdom.
I had some thoughts. I just had some thoughts as you all were talking. I mean, I've been doing YouTube for years, and the black leggings and the black mat, I just wanted to slap myself in the head. Like, how did I never think of that? Like, that's such a good tip. I was like, yes, I've done that. And the whiteboard, I've used a whiteboard to teach for years, but I've never put one doing tutorials. So that's just so smart. And you said something about, just do it like a perfection. One of my favorite sayings is perfection is the enemy of done. So, I have really enjoyed doing online classes with my friends. Pamela, we shared, and Rena too, a friend Jean out in San Diego.
Oh yeah,
and
she's
I've been
lovely.
Doing her. She just makes my heart feel so warm, and it means so much to turn on YouTube or Facebook and do yoga with her right now. And I don't care if her dogs are in there or her cat is meowing. I want to be with my friends. And so I was telling Rena how much that means to me right now. So these are great tips. I am not an expert in this area, but it's been wonderful. And I've taken things away that will help me for sure. So thank y'all for doing this. I appreciate you.
Oh, of course. Of course. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate all of your wisdom and your amazing posts. If you haven't checked out Courtney's YouTube channel, you should. She has lots of great stuff on finances and cleaning up your finances along with all the other things in our lives. So thank you for being a light. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Y'all have a great afternoon. I'm gonna stay on and listen.
Yes. Yeah. So if anybody else wants to join us, follow that link that I just popped in there and just jump on. Only one person can join us at a time. So if you try to get on and you can't, that means that we already have our 4. But as soon as someone pops off, then maybe try again. So here's Rena answering someone's question. You probably don't need Zoom and Facebook Live unless you're doing a webinar. So I'm bringing Rena back up. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I am not sure I completely understood the question. If you can scroll back up, it was...
Or if you want to ask it, Francis, if you would like to jump in live and ask your question and maybe have a conversation, then try to find that link that I posted on being a guest.
I have a list of the questions over here. Let me see. Oh, I thought I had it. I missed it. I don't remember who it was. Who asked it?
So here's Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Says, I heard Zoom to Facebook Live must from computer, not iPhone or iPad. Did we already talk about that?
I'm not sure why that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Kimberly. Is there some reason that you're doing Zoom to Facebook Live? Because normally you would do one or the other unless you're doing a webinar. So you would either use Zoom platform or Facebook Live. if you're doing.
Kimberly's a dance teacher, so I think she's, yeah.
So I'm not, if Kimberly, if you're still on here, can you come up and talk to us more, or type in the chat? I'm not completely understanding what Zoom to Facebook Live means if it's not a webinar from computer and not iPhone or iPad, and you must use Chrome. There are some things that Chrome does that the other ones don't do, so that could be true.
I know that I had to get on Chrome to do this Be Live on here, and so, and there are certain other applications or websites that I want to, well, anytime I go on Facebook, if I want to FaceTime my daughter in Spain, I have to go through Chrome. It won't let me do it on Safari. I'm on Mac. So I think that is maybe just one of the things that has to happen.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to put that on the list, and when the sheet comes out here, probably by tonight or tomorrow with all these answers, I will make sure that's in there. And if I need to, I'll reach out to you to clarify your question. She says, nope, yoga, I'm on my
Yeah, I just realized. Sorry about that. We've had a lot of responses and questions back and forth in messages, and so, and I'm in the dance world and the yoga world, so I got a little confused. So if there are, oh, Marianne is here. We're going to bring in Marianne. Is it Marianne or Marianne?
It's Marianne.
Marianne, thank you for joining us. So glad you're here. What do you want to talk about?
Thank you so much. I just, in response to everything going on, just really quickly recorded some videos and threw them up on my YouTube page. And now I'm like, I mean, I want to do a better job. Do you guys ever go back and delete stuff from the past that wasn't up to par?
Rena, talk about Sunny Lenarduzzi.
Yeah, so I've been studying YouTube for about a year now, and with unofficially online with Sunny Lenarduzzi. So if you're not familiar with her, if somebody can type, if you guys will type, Pamela, I think you know how to spell it. You'll type at Sunny Lenarduzzi or just in there in the chat, or if not, we'll add it later. She's kind of my YouTube queen, and I'm in a course with her now to learn how to optimize those things, which that you don't need to do right away. But one thing I love about her is she's a multimillionaire and has almost 400,000 followers, and she has not removed one video that she ever did. She likes to say, and I haven't either, and some of mine are really grainy and you can't hear well. And I know it's hard because you think, we have that Insta feed idea in our brain. Like we need a YouTube grid to look like our Insta grid, but I just think I just wouldn't. And, you know, once any followers or any steam you've gotten on YouTube from having that there is gone if you delete it. And that's just like starting over in the algorithm on YouTube. So I think, yeah, just be real, just be you. And it's fun to look back at your progress.
That's kind of what I thought at first. Is like half of me wants to keep it so I can see my improvement as the videos go along. But then the other half of me is like, no, make it clean, you know, have it be really perfect looking. But, you know, that's that perfectionist thing that I'm going to try to let go of.
We're all working on it.
It's always a work in progress. I don't think any of us are ever going to feel like, man, I'm just perfect.
And let me say one more thing about that whole thing about Facebook videos, or just about videos in general, YouTube. Audio is more important than video. The quality of your audio comes first over the quality of your video. And we're all really visual and we want things to look pretty and we want it to be really clear. But if people can see what you're doing, if you're demonstrating, even if they can roughly see you, they can follow what you're saying. But if they can't hear you or understand what you're saying, or it's muffled, you're done. I mean, they could maybe watch you, but I know a lot of us don't. Sometimes people don't demonstrate everything, but so work on your audio. Work on that first, and yours may be fine already, but that's a tip that I think I got from somewhere that's really important.
Yeah.
I was laughing when she said if you're doing a 30-minute video, be really concise, because my first attempt, I'm like, welcome to this 30-minute video. And then it's 40 minutes, you know? So it's like, do I delete that? Do I call it 30 to 40? Like now I'm just like, I don't know, it's out there. So I'll just move on.
Yeah.
Thank you for the tips. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming on with us, Marianne. It was so great to have you. Okay, so we had Frances on deck, but I think we lost her. So maybe she'll try to get back on. We will drop all of our links in the comments for you. So just after the broadcast, we'll go back and put in any links. I'm just going to give it one more second to let any other questions come up that might be in your brain or in your heart. And we'll just take this time. I'll let every one of us go through and kind of share where you can find us and sort of what we offer. So Rena, if you want to go first with that.
Sure. And also in the description of this event, and if you sign up for the little cheat sheet after the fact, this will all be in there. But you can find me at renawren.com. And that's pretty much where all of my stuff is. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can just search Rena Wren and find me. Sometimes you might find me with a guitar. That's usually my music stuff. But for all the yoga things, you can find me that way. I'm on YouTube, and you can just do Rena Wren and you'll see it. It's just youtube.com/Rena Wren. But there's actually a link in that Facebook group, in the Facebook event, that you can click, and then you can subscribe right away. So we would really appreciate your support, subscribing. And if you like the content we share and you want to be on our email list, I know Pamela and I both have one going right now. We'll give you a way to do that as well. And I think that's it for me.
There I am. So this is my first time with this new platform. So if things look a little funky, like I said, I'm modeling imperfection for you guys. So we have Frances. Frances gonna come on. What do you want to talk about, Frances?
Hi, I apologize for the way I appear and look.
You look beautiful.
It's nice to be able to speak, and thank you guys so much for being here. It's like
thank
getting
you.
to go on an outing when we're not going anywhere.
Yes, absolutely. But that connection is what people are needing right now. And that's why I said that earlier, is do connect with your people. They need it. And I know that some people say that, oh, you can't get the connection through video that you can live. But I heard this from Mark Walsh of the Embodiment Conference. I think it's what it's called. If you don't know who Mark Walsh is, you should look him up because he's pretty amazing. And he said, if that didn't work, if we couldn't connect with each other on a visceral level, then movies and television shows wouldn't make us cry. And I just thought that was brilliant. That's a really great argument for being able to do all this online. And some of us have been trying to get the online thing for quite a while, and we've had some success and some not, because people had resistance to it, clients. But now they are, and I think they're going to find out that there is a really, really big connection. So yeah, what do you want to talk about, Frances?
Well, that's part of my,
or just that.
well, that's part of my question. I guess my bigger question is, so I've put some random videos up lately just for breathing techniques for people that are on my Facebook page. I don't have a business page or a YouTube channel. And a lot of people are responding saying, oh my gosh, we need more. And, or have you thought about doing a YouTube channel, or have you thought about this or thought about that? And they're all wonderful ideas. I was just wondering, with the three of you as teachers and having done so much online, time-wise, like it just sounds like I love it. I actually am a certified educator in high school level, and I taught, and most of it was online, and I love it. I'm not afraid or shy of the camera. And I agree with you on the connection factor, that you can, through a camera, definitely connect with your people, and vice versa. So I just was going to ask about time, because I know I saw the prep work for Nikki's room, and I've seen your videos and all that goes into that. Time-wise, this versus teaching at a studio, or me just going into one of the gyms where I work and teach for an hour and leave. what drove you to do it online, and then how, I don't know if you can quantify your time, but what does it take?
That's a great question. Rena, can you talk a little bit about batching and your schedule and how you do that for time management?
Sure. I use an app called Trello, and you also have it on computer. It's trello.com, Trello. And inside there, it's really user friendly. They have some tutorials, and inside there, I can do different lists. Like for YouTube, I have how I do my descriptions, how I do my links, and I save in there. I use Google Docs, and I go into Google Doc and type out descriptions, and I put the link to the Google Doc in the Trello board. So that might be a little bit, if you're kind of like, what's Trello? But it's really a project management system. I don't have it down, but it's completely, but it has saved a ton of time for me. And I really, thank you for bringing me up, Pamela, but I really want Nikki to speak to this because she has it down to a science, and I think probably doesn't spend nearly as much time as she used to on the setup, breakdown, and organization.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're teaching classes regularly from your own space like this, like I do, I'm fortunate enough. I have this kind of dead space here that I just took over in my house. So I keep this set up all the time. So this is like my little corner here behind me. And I can just go there. Well, I don't even know. I was like, where's my phone? Oh, it's in front of me. So I have my phone here. I actually will have, say for lighting and such, I have a smart outlet that's controlled by Bluetooth. So this is just one other little simple thing, but I don't have to go around hitting light switches and stuff either. So I can actually be in my house and just turn everything on and turn everything off. So all my lighting is done because I have my Bluetooth light switch. That's helpful. Small things, but these make a difference. I also, as far as timing for your, what's the difference between this and the other? It sometimes might seem like going to a studio or going to a facility is less time consuming. As far as you walking in the door, you don't always have to have an exact plan laid out, and you don't have to of course you put thought into it. We're instructors and teachers, and whatever it is that you're teaching, you always have a plan in your mind, but it's different when you're live in front of someone. It might change, or you just kind of have an idea in your head. When you are teaching online, it is a little more consuming in that you really probably need to have a better idea, because you can also build off of that, and then you're going to be recording it, and you think ahead more as far as your end product is going to be, because then you're going to have those, you're going to save those things, and then you want to be able to utilize them later, maybe for like a little challenge or as a package deal or something. So you might be putting a little more thought into it eventually. And getting your class plan more than you might if you walked into like a gym or a studio or something. Then also you have to consider, though, you've also spent time in your vehicle and getting ready and going and doing. You still have to get ready somewhat because you want to look decent on camera. I mean, I say that sometimes I have taught my classes in my pajamas. So not even joking. So it just depends on the day. And those are like the ones I have with people I know and that I'm friends with. But so I'm like, ladies, this is what's happening today. So yeah, it can happen. But time wise, you have to consider it's still time. It's still your time, and so you have to think about that, because you get in your car, you drive somewhere. Maybe I was in my car all the time, driving back and forth. And so maybe I have a good 25-minute commute one way. Well, then, done with that, it's almost an hour of commuting to that one class, and the hour I spent teaching the class. So that's at least 2 hours of my time getting ready and doing all. So, 2.5 hours maybe to teach the one class. Then I can spend that less time probably now teaching an online class. There is now going to be the upload afterwards, the little bit of trimming I do on my videos, maybe making a little Canva thumbnail. Those are all things that you do later. You don't have to do it all right now, but as you grow, then you want to have those things put together. But that becomes really easy too, because you then have all of these things that are like templates, and you can just plug stuff in and you're like, oh, this is for this class, and this is for that class, and this is for how, you know, breathing exercises or whatever. And you can put them together and group them up really easily that way. So I find that, you know, yeah, no matter what you do in life, you're probably going to spend some time, you know, and it's just, where do you want to spend that time? I like not spending it in my car. So
Yeah, exactly.
helpful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Frances.
you.
It was
Thank
great to
you.
have you.
Thank you.
And anyone else who wants to jump on, I reposted the link to get on to answer questions with us. And so, Nikki, you want to take a moment just to sort of talk about where they can find you and connect with you?
Yeah. Currently, down, you know, like Rena mentioned in the event notes down there, you can find my YouTube and Facebook. So this is hopefully this is actually encouraging to you. I still don't have a web page up, okay? Because I have been working on trying to do something about getting a web page put together for a very long time now. And it just hasn't happened. But, you know, you don't even have to have that if people know how to find you. So YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. It's just Nikki Cotton. And the link is down below. And then I in the event. And then also I have a Facebook page that's just Nikki Cotton Yoga. And it's at Yoga with Nikki C. You can find it that way as well. So those are my two main places that you could find me and get more information, and then also my videos on YouTube. And I'm a good example. If you go to my YouTube channel, I just recently got that thing cleaned up. I just recently did all my channel artwork, started kind of going back, and we had the question earlier, do you delete old videos? Well, a lot of my videos were old, and I'm just now adding new ones because I've just been busy doing other stuff, teaching, but not putting them into use. So I just made little thumbnails for the old ones that I had. I didn't take them off, but I made thumbnails, so it would be kind of consistent. So anyway, that's where I am. That's what I have going on, and you can find all that stuff, like I said, down there below. I hope that's helpful. And you know, again, I'm a very good example of not knowing anything, and honestly just progressing slowly, little bite by bite, and then lots of questions to Rena. So
Rena is a resource for us all. Yeah, so I dropped my email address. I dropped a bunch of links, so you can just scroll past it if you don't need it. I just dropped links to everything in the comments, and you can take what you need and what you don't. And Rena and Nikki can also drop their links in there too. I wanted to highlight this question talking about sound. She said, Pam says, hi, Pam. When Nikki came back, her audio slightly behind the video. Any idea what caused this and how to fix? But then Rena said it wasn't behind on her end. Diana said hers too, but the sound is good, not interfering with the quality. And so I don't know what the answer is, but I think maybe sometimes there is just a lag, and it could be a Facebook glitch, it could be a BeLive glitch, and we have no control over those types of things. And our people understand, I think. But I don't know. You guys can chime in on that.
I will definitely say that I see that sometimes, and I even have seen it like with, you know, we've talked on here before, and this is what I was having the issue with. Sometimes it's your internet speed. Sometimes it's the platform you're on. Zoom is notorious for that. Just know that when you're using Zoom, you might have little lags, and you might have times when the image freezes a little bit here and there or whatever, but it's okay. It's nobody's ever cared, and I've taught hundreds and hundreds of hours on Zoom. No one has ever cared. So you know, I really wouldn't worry about that much, but it's really, I think, just a sign from that. It's just something that happens oftentimes in these streaming live services is what I think. Rena, you've been on there a lot too, so
yeah, I agree. And there's a lot, you know, the internet is taking a hit right now. And so I think we're lucky to have it working as well as we do. But
I was scared.
So I know this is the first time we've all done this, and Pamela dove in and offered to do this BeLive, and it's really fun being able to have all three of us.
It is so much fun.
Bring you guys.
It's so much fun. We have another question I want to bring up, but I wanted to go back to what Nikki was talking about clothes. really, when Rena said, "What are you guys wearing?" and I said, "I'm going to wear a shirt and I'm going to be naked underneath." And we really do have that freedom when you're working from home. Like, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing on the bottom. I may or may not be. So, so
I have on yoga pants. Yoga on the bottom, business on the top.
So let's look at this question, because you guys may have some. Hi, Taylor. Thanks for joining us. You guys may have some.
Hey, Taylor.
I typed in a couple of GoDaddy and cheap domains, but do you guys have other places where you buy your domain names
Bluehost.
for your website?
Bluehost.
Yeah, I have one. I actually have one. I just don't have it up. But yeah, look, I got it from Bluehost.
And I have a little trick for you too. When you get a website, if you don't want to put up your website right away, once you have a domain, you can forward that domain to your Facebook page. So you can tell people, hey, find me at taylorisawesome.com, and we can go there and it just goes straight to your Facebook page. So Bluehost, and do a little bit of research first to see, make sure you're not using a brand name that's already taken or that someone else has, not just the domain, but do an open Google search. Just if you're thinking of doing Yoga with Taylor is fantastic, then go search that and see if someone else has something, just so that you're not starting right out of the gate with what somebody else has.
Yeah, that's important. The name it's pretty important, and you spend a lot of time working. I just rebranded from Crane Yoga Therapy to Interoceptive Performance to sort of niche down and kind of hone in on what I'm actually doing. And that's a process for sure. But the best thing you can do is just do something, and you can always rebrand and change it up later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think I see any other questions. I hope I didn't miss some, but there was a lot going on. So if I missed you and you have a burning question, pop it back in real fast while I'm doing my shameless plug. I'm at interoceptiveperformance.com. And if you go there right now, you'll notice that it pops up a Wix link, because I'm in the process of changing my domain from Crane Yoga Therapy to Interoceptive Performance. And lo and behold, it takes 48 hours to do that. So right now I have an email address forwarded, just like Rena was talking about. So when you go there, it's going to pop up with Wix, PamelaWix.com or something. I don't know. But yeah, so Pamela, interoceptiveperformance.com. You can get me at info@interoceptiveperformance.com, at interoceptiveperformance.com on all the socials, pretty much LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And so definitely reach out with any questions you have. If you want one-on-one time, I know all three of us do that sort of consulting. If you need more in-depth help than what we can really answer in a question or two, we have time to do those sorts of things with you. So, you're welcome, Taylor. A lot of you said you're welcome, or a lot of you said thank you. So I'll say a big blanket you're welcome, because I started trying to type in to every comment, but
I was trying to help with those too. I did see a couple of other questions that I can answer real quick if we have time.
Sure. Yeah.
You want me to answer? There was one about how do you watch the Zoom video once it's recorded. So that's an easy tutorial that I can do. How do you actually watch video on Zoom when done? When you go back into your Zoom account, on the left side, there's going to be things you can choose from. One says recordings. That's if it's recorded. Yeah, it says recordings. If you recorded it locally, then you have to find it. If you record it locally, it should pop up and say your video is ready, and it will let you click and tell where it is. Otherwise, you go into your recordings and find what's recorded on your cloud. You can click on that recording and actually trim it if you want to. So if you did have people checking in at the beginning, you can edit that right in Zoom. If you want to just take out the beginning, take out the end, click enter, it will edit that right there for you before you download it or share the link or whatever. I hope that answered that question.
And I'm going to share a quick hack with you on that. When it says your video is ready, rename it then.
Yes.
Because you might not be able to find it if you don't rename it, because they put up a bunch of numbers and letters and I don't know. So when it pops up that your video is ready, go ahead and name it something, even if it's bar class number 82 or whatever you try, or legs and butts or whatever. name it then,
Right
because
click, yeah.
because once you get out of it, it's very difficult, or for me, it's very difficult to find it back. Maybe, I don't know, if there's a better organizational system you guys have for that, let me know. And you said there was another question, Rena?
Yeah, it was about thumbnails. And then I had one other thing to tell them about Facebook playlists, which isn't a question. So I don't know if you want to pull up that thumbnail one and we can all
let me
chime
see if
in.
I can find it.
I'll talk about the Facebook playlist thing. If you just don't want to do YouTube, Facebook has, if you have a Facebook page, there is a tool in there. When you upload a video, it acts very much like YouTube, and you can create playlists. So if you just want to be on Facebook right now and you don't want to learn something new, you can upload videos there. You can either do a Facebook Live and download it, a Facebook Live and go back in and edit it and put like a thumbnail or a picture cover or put some tags in. You can create playlists. And I think most people don't know that you can use the video section of Facebook just like it's similar to YouTube with playlists. Did you find the thumbnail? Okay. Did y'all want to talk about thumbnails?
Yeah, she just said, how do you make thumbnails?
Okay, I use Canva, but what I'm going to say before I go there is...
I just dropped the link for Canva.
If you're new to this, though, keep this in mind. If you're new to this, you can take a picture of yourself sitting on your mat or doing a posture from your class that you're about to teach, or just doing this or something, and you can use that photo as your thumbnail. If you're like, graphics, what am I doing? I actually have a little tutorial on how to create a Facebook something anyway using Canva. I think it was a Facebook cover, but you can do that within Canva, but you don't have to. You just do something that's a picture you chose rather than what it's going to choose for you, because it may have your face like this.
Yeah, some of the bar classes that I put up on my YouTube channel, I just did a screenshot of me, and I mean, it's not amazing because, you know, I just did it really fast and threw it up there, but it's there. And I got it there so that people could access it. And I think that's the big message that we're all trying to share is, yeah, just do it, get it up there. You can always go back and change it. Yeah, if you just put a quick screenshot of you, put it on there, and then later maybe you batch a day where you're going to go and make your graphics and clean up your thumbnails. But, you know, maybe you don't.
That's what I did yesterday. You know, like, I mean, you can go back, you can change things. You don't have to have it perfect. Or that's the takeaway. And that's what Rena would always tell me whenever I would get overwhelmed. She's like, just do something. Just do something.
And if you do thumbnails where you add graphics, just try to go look at the ones that Pamela and Nikki and I have on YouTube and scroll down through our YouTube channels and kind of look at those. Mine have changed over time, so that's one reason I left them. I haven't even updated all my thumbnails. I did things differently as I learned. But you want colors that contrast, and bold font or something that's bold, like Pamela's is not all caps, but she has a really bold font on there that shows up really well. Nikki's is a colored background with white letters with a frame, and mine is just black and white. And that is text that's on top of the photo that we're using. So if you're like, what? Go look at those and you'll see what we mean. And you can create those in Canva. So I'm happy to do a tutorial on that. Pamela, any one of us can do that. I can do that for you. Whoever, we'll add that to our list of things, videos that we can do for you. Sunny Lenarduzzi has a ton of stuff, all YouTube things, channel trailer, channel art. So if all these terms are new to you, it's okay. Don't stress. I think at some point we all have like a creating video content
freak out.
That, and I think among the three of us, we may end up doing a little short course for you, because this is what's so helpful doing something like this, because we've been doing this so long, sometimes we don't even back up enough to think what your question might be. So this is so helpful. Thank you so much for your questions.
Yeah. And there is no question that is not worth asking.
Absolutely.
I mean, I am dead serious. Like, I remember going back just like on like Instagram posts and stuff, and I would ask Rena, how do I make my words go sideways? Simple things now that I'm just like, yeah. But she's like, you have to have 2 fingers on it. You can move it. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, simple. But I mean, really, there's no question that's not worth asking.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us and sharing your time with us. And I want to remind you, if you are a Yoga Alliance registered teacher, to fill out whatever it is you fill out to upload it yourself.
I have a tutorial on that.
Rena has a tutorial about that. So
It's
make
not
sure,
posted, but I do. I can post that for you.
so she'll be posting that. So make sure you get credit for this time that you're spending, because this is definitely a valuable information that I think you can claim credit for. So yeah, well, thank you all for joining us, and we're going to take off now, but find us on all the places. Bye.
To stay on track, be sure to grab my frequently asked questions and top tips resource mentioned in the description below. It includes exclusive content and tutorials and sample forms mentioned directly in this video. Also, if you want to connect with other yoga teachers for support and inspiration, be sure to like my Facebook page. The link is in the description below. There I share tutorials, tips, and exclusive content just for you. Check out these videos next for more strategies on teaching yoga online. And if you found this helpful, please like this video, drop me a comment, share it with your friends and fellow yoga teachers, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so that you'll be notified every week when I drop a new video. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye for now.